Hey, hey, hey. Looks like we got some people online now. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, man?
Just ready to get this party started.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, here we are finally.
Yeah,
Seems like it's been about 6 years since we've had an IKA event, so
I
I'm ready for
know.
this one.
I know. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. If anybody's wondering, we we waited to have the captain's meeting till the night before. That way we could be more confident in the weather and the ability to actually have the event because history.
Yeah,
Right.
no
So
kidding. No kidding. Yeah, it's early in the week they're calling for some iffy weather, and looks like it's not going to be a beautiful spring day, but it's not going to be the worst spring day.
yeah,
So
I think we'll be all right.
yeah, I agree.
We'll be okay. I've been watching a few different weather sites through the week, and um, they did get a little bit of rain today. I think not very much, according to the gauges I watched.
Yep. Yeah.
And then they had, I think there's supposed to be some afternoon showers tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much either. So,
Yep.
yep, I agree, Mr. Kaiser. Better than last year. It's not a
Well,
very high. It's not a very high bar, but
no.
yeah,
Yeah, that was terrible. But yeah, yeah, it does sound like the wind's going to pick up in the afternoon. So that's something to
mm-hmm.
kind of be aware of, depending on where you're at and
Right.
in the
And I
current
think
situation and things like that. Just kind of be weather aware tomorrow, I guess. That's right.
I don't even have to say anything. Yeah, I think that I sort of what I was looking at is some wind gusts picking up in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Um, just like any event, but especially river events, it's important to always keep your head on a swivel, see what recognize what's going on around you. Um, just pay a lot of attention. Don't drop your guard, right?
Yep.
Ever. So that's definitely a key, and especially on the tippy. I mean, it's always flowing a little bit more than the white, and
Yeah, and it's been running a little bit lower
right.
in the past few years here, or the last year. So uh, if you're comfortable in one spot and haven't been there in a while, just be aware that it's going to look a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's going to be some stuff out of the water that might not have been, some stuff that you could possibly hit. So just be aware.
Speaking of stuff in the water, somebody gave me a pointer earlier this week, and sorry, I can't remember who that was at this point, but somebody said that there's a rather large log laying across the river. I'm pretty sure he said near the confluence with the Wabash.
Okay.
And so just, it's not a complete obstruction or anything. Just pay attention.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Definitely. And I'm sure there's probably several others along the river that weren't there last year or whatever, but
Yep.
not that anybody saw what was going on last year because it sounds like it rained the whole time. But yeah, so tonight what we want to do is we're going to go over. I don't know how you want to do it, Matt. So we need to kind of go over some of the basic rules from the newer anglers,
Yep.
and then we need to go over things specific for this event. So how would you rather do that? Would you rather start with this event specifics and then kind of roll into some basic rules overviews, or
Let's do some basic stuff first. Basic
okay?
rule overviews. So.
Yeah. So let's just slide right into the safety part of it, right? Since
Yeah.
it's kind of what we've been talking about. So one of the rules of Indiana kayak anglers that you'll definitely need to pay attention to is PFDs, and they are to be on at all times, properly fastened, um, and approved PFDs, which is basically any of them except belts, no belts. So make sure that you have that on at all times. Um, the exception to the all times rule is if you need to shed clothes or put more clothes on or whatever, right? Just take it off to get changed and get it back on. Um, but other than that, it needs to be worn at all times.
Yeah, in this particular event, with river events, we allow wading as well. And while you're wade fishing, you need to have that PFD on
Yep,
during that
absolutely.
time as well.
Always on.
Yep.
Always on. What are our other safety rules? I should have been more prepared for this one.
Um, I mean, that's really the big one I think of is
Valid license.
valid license. Yeah.
Without saying, this particular event, you don't need. Um, for this particular event, you don't need a DNR permit. It's not
Yep.
required for the river.
Courteous on the water. I mean, that's always one. We're sharing the river with potential other fishermen during the event, so
Absolutely.
just make sure that we're courteous on the water, and yeah, hand placement on fish. I think that's a
we'll go through that one in a minute. I've got the whole slideshow that we put together a couple years ago that we'll kind of slide through real quick, just for it's especially for the new guys. The guys that have fished with us before, we have no rule changes for 2023. It's the same as 2022. We're not doing anything different. Yeah. Let's just jump into the CPR stuff. So all of our events are catch, photo, release. This particular event is your biggest 5 fish. All of them will be this year, as far as I know. We don't have any reason to change that. So biggest 5 fish, you're going to use Tourney X to, obviously you've registered for the event, and you're also going to use Tourney X to submit your fish. So we're going to go over real quick the CPR rules. Again, none of them have changed, so sorry for those in the class that have been here before, but this is important information about hand placement. So if you're going to have your hand on the fish when you take the photo, it cannot be touching the tail fins. And I will add that anytime you're doing something like this, keep in mind that the person who's determining whether you broke that rule or not, all they have is a 2-dimensional photograph, right? So if your hand is close to that tail, and when you look at that photo before you submit it, if you say, hey, there's some question about where my hand's actually at when I look at this 2-dimensional image, take another picture, submit a different picture, because I'm going to be looking at the same thing. If your finger's over top of that tail fin, I have to assume it's touching it. That's just all there is to it.
Same. And notice how far down that purple goes on the fish. I think a lot of people think just the tail, from that, but that quarter, that kind of bumps out on the fish all the way out to the end, but it's all the way to where the tail touches the body of the fish.
Right.
So notice the top and the bottom of the purple area as well.
Yeah. Yep. Just keep your hand away from the fin and we'll be safe.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean that the tail has to be a natural lay on the board. You can manipulate the tail all you want to get to that next mark on your catch board. But when you take that photo, make sure that hand is not there. Period. The gill plate, no hand underneath it. And that means like any portion of the hand. So the palm of your hand and your finger, any of it cannot be underneath that gill plate. It can be on top. It cannot be underneath it. Another one of those things where remember that we're judging a 2-dimensional picture. We weren't there to see how you took that picture. If it looks like part of your hand is underneath that gill plate, it has to be denied.
Yeah. Right? And shadows can do some funny things and make things look like there's something else going on there. So anytime I try to avoid that area as much as possible. But
so what I've actually been doing for the last 2 years, is I'll get one quick photo with my hand on it.
Yeah.
And then I usually take 4 or 5 that I don't even have my hand on it. Yeah. And then there's not a question, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured out what songs they like, so I'll sing them some songs while they're on there just to calm them down.
Yeah.
You Are My Sunshine.
Yeah.
But
that's one of my favorites too.
So. Yeah. I know. We stayed that one time at your uncle's house and I had to sing that to you to go to sleep, right? Can't cover the eyes, can't cover the mouth. The other part of this to remember is this is mostly about hand placement. We have to be able to see that the mouth is closed and that the lip is touching the fence of the board. So all of those things have to be in the picture. I have to be able to see the fence. I have to be able to see the lip. I have to be able to see all of these things. And part of being able to see that is that the photo is taken from above. Sometimes it's easier to kind of lean back and take a picture if you think you need to get further away, right? Don't lean back, hold it up, right? Because it needs to come from above. So honestly, if you're having trouble getting above it to take the picture, then you're probably putting the board on your lap. I would suggest putting it in the bottom of your kayak. So we're going to go over a few things here. So this is a beautiful smallmouth. Hopefully we'll have several of those. This photo is old. I will make note. This is taken with a hog trough. This is actually not an allowable board. It's an old photo. We'll live with it. So the great thing about this picture is it's perfectly positioned. The fish is facing to the left. The dorsal fin is up. The belly of the fish is facing the whoever's taking the picture, the angler, right? So this is really good placement. You'll notice that the mouth is closed and the lip is obviously touching the fence. So this is a very good one. This is another one on a hog trough. Sorry, it's an old picture. Hands not covering the eye, and it's not underneath the gill plate. So it's close, but it's not.
Yep.
Another thing, any CPR photo, your kayak has to be visible. So even if you catch, we'll get to this in a second, river events you are allowed to wade, catch a fish, you need to go to your kayak. I have to see your kayak in the photo. Well, no, we also noted on here that the token is visible. All right, this is a bad one because we've got the hand covering the eye, and we've got the identifier laying on top of the fish. Both no-nos. This one's also a bad one because not an approved measuring board, which we approved measuring boards are catch only. So the original catch board, the catch X, and the catch carbonate. That's it for our lovely little slideshow there. So hopefully we covered that pretty well. I really apologize, guys. It's sometimes hard for me to remember everything we need to go through because we've been doing it for so long. What is it that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah.
Let's talk about I guess we might as well talk about wading, right? So wading is only allowed in our river events for this year. This will be the Tippy event and the White River event. The way that works is that you can wade, but you have to be within eyesight of your watercraft. And if you can no longer see your watercraft, you need to stop fishing.
Yeah, and you can't access another body of water, so you can't see like a pond or something that's not connected to the river. You can't walk to that just because you can see your kayak and come back. That's a no-no.
That's correct. It's also trespassing, which is
also
always a no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always a no-no. Can you think of anything else?
No, I think we can start covering the day and
all right
of the day.
All right. So the Tippy event. All right. So we I'm going to share my screen here real quick. So I'm just going to pull this right up from Tourney X. So our important times for the day. On the water, 6:15. Matt, you want to explain what that means?
Yeah, so that means that you can launch your kayak and be on the water. With a river event, you'll notice that the on the water time, the line's end time is pretty close. So you can actually take away from the ramp at 6:15, but you cannot fish at that time.
Right. So basically, like, on the water doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have your kayak in the water, right?
Yep.
Like you can be staged near the ramp, at the launch, but you can't actually take off and head to your spot until 6:15.
Yep.
Right. So then lines in at 6:30. So the way we know about this is obviously through the time on the picture. So if you submit if you take a picture of a fish at 6:13, it's going to get denied. And I guess I need to review the rules a little bit, but that actually is grounds for disqualification in my opinion too.
Yep.
Because what we really mean by lines is you can't even start fishing before then. So, that can get enforced by your competitors too, right? Like they can say, "Hey, why are you fishing?
Yeah.
Put that rod down." Lines out 2:30 p.m. So that means you need to stop fishing at 2:30 p.m. And then with these river events, we give you an hour to get your fish submitted, because I'm sure that there's probably some areas along the Tippy that are a little crap for signals. So that gives you an hour to get to your takeout, get packed up, find signal, whatever you need to do. That should be sufficient. And then we're going to meet at the Buffalo Christian Church in Buffalo, Indiana, around 3. We'll be there about 3:45. We're going to do the awards show then. Should be live streaming it on Facebook, hopefully. So everybody will be able to watch. Coming to headquarters isn't currently required, but it's certainly appreciated. Not just by me, because I like to see everybody, but I think all of your other competitors like to see you too, right? Like this is part of the reason we got into sport is the camaraderie, and that's the opportunity we have to see everybody and talk and shoot the breeze and tell fish stories, right? So
yeah, COVID sucked when it took that away from us. So
yeah, absolutely. So let's make up for it and
exactly.
come hang out. We got to give a big thanks to Buffalo Christian Church for letting us borrow their parking lot.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not raining a lot because it is not an indoor venue. Actually, I think they have a pavilion there. They used to, like by the playground or something.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but yeah.
Yep. We go back to that camaraderie thing. You cram 50 people into that pavilion. It's pretty intimate and lots of conversation, right?
That's right.
One of the things about this event is this is a moving water Tippecanoe River event, which means you're not to be fishing Lake Freeman or Schaefer. And we explain those boundaries right here on the Turn the X page. So the southern boundary for the Norway to Dodge Camp section is the 421 bridge. So that keeps us above Freeman, right? Schaefer.
Yeah.
Schaefer, yeah. You will definitely need your identifier for tomorrow. We will release the code here shortly, so everybody will have that to be able to fill in their identifier. You can download our tokens here and print them out if you need them. We also allow the KBF token if you already have one of those handy. Those are the two things that your code can be written on. Nothing else. No bananas, no back of your hand. Just the identifiers we have. Please make sure you go sign your waiver too.
Yeah, get that done. Make sure
you can
get that done.
Yeah, you can find it linked here in the Turning X page. Also, you can go to our website, go to resources, things you will need, and we have the link there for the waiver of liability.
Yep, takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Anything else about this event? I'm going to refresh this real quick, see how many we have signed up right now. We made it to 50. All right.
There you go.
All right, and I think there's a couple still on the fence. I know I talked to one of our regulars earlier today, and as always, he's like, "Oh, how late can I sign up?" So he'll probably be a last minute, pulling into the boat ramp registration. Can you think of anything else we need to cover, Matt? I think it feels like we got it all.
Yeah, I would just say, if you're looking for launches and things like that, go on the website. Jason's laid out a really nice planning page there. There it is. Boom. has your float times, has everything. So there it is. I highly encourage you to use that.
The one thing I would like to say is I know we have several new anglers that are fishing this event for the first fishing an event for the first time. If you do not have a catch board, please contact me tonight. I will be up there all day. I am not fishing the event, and therefore I have a couple spares I can bring with me that you can borrow for the day. So, and there's probably several other anglers that do too. So please reach out. We'll get you all squared away so you can still fish tomorrow. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I haven't seen any questions pop up. Yeah, see, Mr. Winkler says he has an extra one. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Get a hold of us. And Matt, you just flip us off?
Maybe.
Get a hold of us in anything. Otherwise, tight lines, safe travels for anybody heading into town tonight or tomorrow. Good luck, and we will see you at Buffalo Christian Church in the afternoon. All right, y'all. Bye-bye.